Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Chat with Kat, a podcast dedicated to offering a growth mindset platform for us entrepreneurs, where we discuss everything from business, mindset, to life in general. I'm your host, Catherine Polsinelli, a business organizing powerhouse, personal development strategist, and owner of Agent Services Plus, a company focused on helping entrepreneurs just like you build, grow, and be courageous in their business. I'm so excited to have you with us today, so grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage and get ready to have some amazing conversations and fantastic takeaways. Let's jump right in. So today I have Mr. Chris Rains. So happy to meet with you. I'm glad that I get to work with you as well. I'm a little spoiled, so I have a little bit more of an in-depth understanding. But tell everybody, why you got into real estate. I know you've only been in 3 years and you're freaking killing it. So give us a little bit of a background.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm just going to dive straight into a little bit of my past and what kind of has shaped myself and continues to shape my future. So starting out at a young age, I watched my grandfather in real estate. He was pretty successful in my small town. He did some flips, owned some rentals, was an agent, helped a lot of people, was an appraiser, wore many hats, and was always successful. And then also got to fish a lot. So I saw that he was able to fish when he wanted to and work a lot. And it was always something that I kind of liked, watching his schedule a little bit, knowing that he could kind of do what he wanted when he wanted to for the most part. My dad didn't exactly get that entrepreneur gene. He was always blue collar, 9 to 5, worked at the nuclear plants in Oak Ridge. And that's kind of what he knew, and never went to college. So he pressed me to go to college, and still definitely appreciate his wisdom and mindset and everything that he's instilled in me. But ended up going to college after high school, got my physical therapist assistant license, did that for 11 years. Even though real estate was always like kind of a backup plan or something I wanted to do. I ended up treating my former broker's husband. So my first broker was doing home health physical therapy. I treated her husband and started getting to know them really well. She really reminded me a lot of my grandfather, kind of same age group, been in business a long time. And it just so happened that our office was right down the street for the Medicis home health office that I worked for, literally almost walking distance.
Nice.
So I was getting to know them and was like, hey, look, I've always wanted to do real estate. Would you be willing to train me and let me come into the office and work a little bit whenever I have time? So after I finish my working day, can I come by a couple hours? You show me whatever I'm supposed to do. So I started there and didn't sell anything for 8 months. I kept my full-time job, did not sell anything for 8 months. But during that time, I kept prospecting, built up my social media, was doing TikToks, was doing Instagram, Facebook groups, literally everything I could possibly do to get my name out there without spending any money, because I didn't know if it was going to work, but I did know that if I was going to fail, I was going to fail in front of everyone because I put myself out there so much that people thought I was selling even when I wasn't. So fast forward a little bit, ended up doing 21 deals in my first year as a part-time agent, technically, I guess, and had a full-time job as well. So kept pushing through, ended up doing 45 the next year. So far, since I joined EXP September 1st of last year, I believe I've closed 53 transactions. So almost a year, and have also grown a team and done quite a bit of things since then. And I've only been out from my full-time job for about a year and a half. So where I transitioned out and was able to truly dive in and focus more on real estate. Also own a couple of vacation rentals. I've got a flip I'm working on currently, and I've got some long-term rentals as well. So there's a lot of irons in the fire for me, and constantly pushing, learning, growing. Now I believe we have a team of 12 and a non-traditional real estate team of 70. So we've grown a lot just in the last year. So when I came to EXP in September, I only had one agent on my team,
That's
period.
fantastic. So, and I know that, and I love that you said this when you got into real estate, you did what a lot of us tell agents to do, right? And so I know some brokerages don't, but don't spend the money to put yourself out there. So what is your take on that? Because I know that you've also grown your business through Facebook groups and you've been really successful with it. So can you tell us a little bit more about, how that worked for you and as far as getting yourself out there and getting the group started and stuff, because I love the fact that you didn't go out and buy leads and spend all that money in the beginning that a lot of us agents starting out, we don't have.
Right. So you've got two different things. You have time and you have money, and you have to leverage whatever you're willing to leverage. So at the time, I didn't have a kid. It was just me and my wife, and she was working a full-time corporate job and was very understanding of the level of work and effort that I was putting into stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also was very appreciative of the life I was creating because I'm able to buy vacation rentals and do things that we weren't able to do before. So was a little bit more patient with me working a lot. It was nothing to do 16, 18-hour days, back to back to back to back to back. I
Mm-hmm.
just grinded it out. And a lot of people don't see that now in me because I've done it for so long now that I don't have to do it that as much anymore. A lot of my time is spent a little bit differently. I'm not constantly having to prospect new clients. I get a lot of referrals. I've got different funnels. So my Facebook groups that I've built, it's generating a couple hundred leads a week, organically. So I don't really have to worry about that either. And I leverage all those leads for the team because I don't really process those much myself anymore. I think building organic funnels is really the way to go if you can. Take your time, just constantly put yourself out there. And I think people also appreciate whenever they see you actually putting the work in versus just running paid ads. There's a big difference, like for my sphere and constantly, adding people on Facebook and getting in front of them. They see that I'm working. It's not just a bunch of random people that don't know me from Adam. They actually know that I'm working hard, putting myself out there and working through it. I do think that resonates with people and they appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you've talked about this several times with me before and stuff, and I with your team about being more organic and finding your niche or how you can grow in your business, because then that's going to bring more people to you that you actually want to work with. Where I feel like you're saying, if you're out spending it on leads and stuff like that, yes, you're getting yourself out in a lot of people, you're hoping to drag in like one or two, right, from that huge funnel. But at the same time, then you have to try to figure out how to build a relationship based on someone that you have no clue who they are, how they act, what their personality is. They just clicked on something random, so they don't know how you act. And then I feel like a lot of agents get caught up in that as well with like their first few deals, because it ends up being someone that does not mesh very well with them. And I feel like that's a huge struggle within our industry, is because, and then some people are great, right? Like I know you're good at mirror and matching people. I'm good at usually mirror and matching people, but it gets exhausting after a while, right? And if your entire business is built off of mirror and matching people and trying to be closer to their personality so that you guys can communicate a little bit better, I feel like that would be a burnout in itself within this industry. What's your take on that one?
Yeah, I definitely have found that I like working with people at a particular kind of price point. I'm not a fancy agent. Like if you're wanting somebody that's like super fancy, has this big spill whenever they come in with fancy videos and all this stuff that shows you what they're doing, and spend a bunch of money to have somebody create all this stuff, that do they really do it? Probably not. But they're going to make it look like they do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
When really, once you get under contract with them and they're ready to, and they're listing, you're listing with them, they don't answer their phone anymore, and you can't get a hold of them, and you can't relate to them. You can't talk to them, but they got fancy videos So I try to go on the other end of the spectrum. I try to actually just get to know the clients and become friends with everyone and be readily available whenever they want to call me and whenever they have questions. And I'm still in that service mentality of, when somebody needs something from me, I'm going to get it to it pretty quickly. You're not waiting 2, 3 days on answers. And I hear of agents all the time that aren't getting back to people for 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 weeks
Mhm.
sometimes. Listing agents that don't answer the phone for agents or the clients. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how they stay in business and continue to get deals like that. But I attract the people that like resonate with how I do business. And you know, at the end of the day, we can go grab lunch or dinner or drinks or whatever afterwards and hang out, and
Mhm.
it's comfortable. So and I don't show up in a suit either. I half the time I show up in shorts and flip flops, but I mimic what my clients are wearing. My clients are going to show up in shorts and flip flops. Why would I want to look any different? Why would I want to make them feel uncomfortable? That's what I've
Mhm.
always kind of thought. Like, why would I want to be uncomfortable myself? I
Yeah.
held open houses early on. I tried to wear a couple suits. I didn't get any clients from those open houses, and I didn't feel like the suit that I was wearing did anything for me. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I'll just dress normal. Me dressing up half the time is putting Sperry's on instead of flip flops.
Oh, oh,
I
fancy.
know, right? I get fancy. Like literally, that's me dressing up. So you get what you get.
Yeah. I love that
I'm
though,
not.
because it's a sense of being comfortable with yourself, which in my personal opinion, and I know I've talked about this on my in some of my videos and stuff, is it brings out a natural confidence versus if you, like you're saying, if you're already uncomfortable, if you're wearing that suit or you're wearing these things that you're not used to, and instead of that bringing the confidence out in you, which for some people, right, dressing up like that and stuff brings that confidence out. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but for those that makes you very uncomfortable and you feel very outside of yourself, that's going to come across whether you're in an open house, whether you're, talking with a client for the first time. Your posture is going to be different. You may be slouched a little bit more and not realize it. You may be a little bit more closed out. Like people can pick up on that. So I totally agree with you. If you're more comfortable with who you are and that's where your confidence comes from, go for it.
I I got a kick out of it the other day. I stopped by, had to drop an earnest funds check off that title, and I was in flip flops, basketball shorts, t-shirt, and a backwards hat. And there was somebody new work that had started at the title office. So the title rep introduced me. They were like, "Hey, this is Chris Rains. This is our one of our top producing agents. You wouldn't know it by looking at him, but like." I don't know why people have to have this like uppity esteem thing. I've never really had that. I'm not
Hmm.
conceited. I don't know. I'm laid back and enjoy serving people.
Yeah.
And business comes from that. Honestly, I think it comes from me being laid back, serving people. I'm like laid back, but hyper focused on working as well. So
Yeah.
it's a weird combination that works for me.
And I feel like there's a huge stigma, or that there's this certain type of persona that you're supposed to present, right? I know that we always hear, dress for the job that you want, not the one that you're interviewing for. But when you're in the entrepreneurial world, people aren't necessarily always looking for that, right? Because they're coming to you for
Yep.
your services and the value that you provide. It's a little bit different than when you're like in the workforce and like that's the person you have to be, because if you come in a t-shirt and flip-flops, right, the boss is like, you're not serious. But if you come in dressed up really nice, then they take you more serious. And I feel like that's kind of bled in over into our world of people that build their own business. And to be honest, I went through the same thing when I started in my business was, oh, I've got to have like the suit jackets and I've got to look nice and I'll go get this. And then what I found out is when it's 90 something degrees outside and I'm showing a house, it's hot as hell. It's so hot. and my clients didn't care, so it was like I started kind of dialing things back, right? I got rid of the blazers unless it was like, something cute and comfy I wanted to wear in the winter. And I went into like a nice tank top or a nice sleeveless shirt and no one said anything, right? Like, no, it was like no one even paid attention to it. The first time that one of my third clients was they were out of California, and someone had sent them to me. They had never met me before, and I was so nervous because I decided to step out of my box and do something I've always wanted to do, and that was shave the side of my head and dye it purple, like violet purple. Yes. So one side of my head was shaved and I had this violet dark purple hair. I loved it. And then when I got these clients, like a few weeks after, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I can't hide this. I can't put my hair, like nothing is going to. And the funny thing is I went there and I was so nervous at first, but then they started asking questions. I was like, oh crap. Okay. I know this. So I just started kind of diving into the stuff that I did. And it never made a difference. And even the mom later was like, I love your hairstyle, by the way. Like, so, but so
Yeah.
going the extreme,
You
right?
were doing what other people wish they had the balls to do. Let's be real. Like they just don't. So yeah, like they won't do it. I wouldn't do that. I mean, but
I don't recommend that as the way to throw
so
yourself into an uncomfortable situation.
probably not the best way, but I mean, there are agents out there like the tatted agent, that just kill it in their marketplace because
Mhm.
they go so far down into their niche that they attract all those people.
Yeah.
They know who they want to work with. They want to work with bikers and tats and crazy hair people, like
But that makes
those
those
people aren't
people
going to be comfortable
comfortable.
with the people in a suit.
Yeah.
They're not going to be comfortable with that. And that's okay. They don't have to be.
No,
That's
I
all we got
love
the
that.
tatted agent for.
And I think it does make it more of a personal conversation so that when you do run into hard situations, right, it's not this person coming from the outside that they're seeing that they have this perception of because of what you're trying to make them see, right? You can actually sit down and have a conversation. Like I'm really big on, and when I work with agents, and I know, you're very relationshipal. I can never get that word right. Build relationships,
Relationship
but
oriented.
there we go. But I always tell people, like, get to know them on a personal level, right? Like anytime that I dealt with someone, whether it was a FISBO or something that someone I'd never met, like the first things that I asked them about was, do you have any dogs? Do you have any animals? Do you have any kids? Because I can relate to that. And then it was more of a conversation between two people that are getting to know each other who eventually become friends versus I am your agent and this is your part that you play. And then they feel like they're stepping on your toes. And sometimes you come off and it's overly aggressive, where if you get
Right.
to know them on a personal level, one, you find out more things that they like, which is going to help you find a home quicker than showing them 50,000 houses, like I feel like a lot of agents do, because you are learning what they like and don't like. But then when you do have to have that conversation of, hey, look, I know that you want to do X, Y, and Z, but based on the market, this is what we're really looking at. It's in my opinion, and you tell me yours, I feel like it's a slightly different conversation than someone coming at them as a business person saying, well, we need to do this with your house. And I feel like they become more offensive on that side.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The other thing, and I know you mentioned pets. If somebody has pets, whether cats or dogs or whatever, you better believe that that's one of my very first things that I'm trying to connect with, because people love their animals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably down sitting in the floor petting on their dog or cat upon entry. Like
Yep.
I'm bent down, petting loving on the dogs, all waggly, happy, whatever. Like a lot of people, including myself, the dogs are family. So
Mm-hmm.
that initial interaction with the pet, that I've landed listings because of that. They're like, nobody, that our dog doesn't like anybody. Loved you, jumped right up in your lap.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah. So they're like, our dog chose you. So I mean that I was actually told that. I'm like, okay, I can do this.
That's cool.
Yeah. Our dog picked you. We interviewed 4 agents. Our dog picked you. Great.
I need to bring the dog special treats.
Yeah. Exactly. So
I think that's fantastic. I love that. And
then,
so, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they ended up moving into the so I helped them sell. They ended up moving into the townhomes in the neighborhood next to us, and
Hmm.
now their dog does come over every now and then. They'll walk through our neighborhood, and the dog will come play with my dogs.
Oh,
So, but yeah, this cute little guy.
that's awesome. And I love that that's a huge part of what you do is just building those relationships, because I feel like depending on where you go, I feel like that is consistently something that people kind of tell you is, you should get to know people, but I don't feel like people really understand that because they're in like this weird point of trying to
They
understand.
don't tell you. They don't tell you how either, and sometimes it's hard to learn how to interact with people.
Hmm.
Like you have to change a lot of things about yourself if you're not used to interacting with people on a personal level like that and building those relationships. Like you've got to train yourself, and that could take years
That's
to
true.
learn that true interaction.
Hmm.
Some people are it's natural. Some people they just don't get it.
Hmm. Or being comfortable with who it is that you are and not trying to stick with putting on a show. So you're basically kind of, you're kind of lying to people, right? Because you're trying to put this specific personality out there thinking that's what people are wanting from you. And then if you slip up, you're going to have anxiety all over the place, wondering if, oh my God, did they notice that? Did they see this? Whereas, when I deal with people, I come with a disclaimer is what I tell everybody. Like, I'm excited to work with you. I'm very blunt. I'm very straightforward. If you're looking for an agent that's, going to squishy through everything and make it nice, like, I'm not your person. If I don't agree with
Right.
you, or I don't think you're making the right decision, I'm gonna tell you. And then I have quirky moments as well where I tripped going upstairs and I laughed it off, or I made a joke about myself in front of my clients. But that's who I am naturally, and it makes
Right.
it, once you're comfortable in who you are and in yourself and your own personality, it makes it a lot easier to then approach people with that and expect them already to love you for who you are, versus, what do I need to hide? What are they not going to like, when you don't even know who that person is? I mean, I've worked with people
Right.
out of California about 6 months ago, and I was really nervous at first. She kind of seemed a little off, and then once I got to talking with her, I found out that, like, Halloween is like her absolute favorite holiday, to the point to where she's got it like all over her house. She had a skeleton that was sitting in one of her chairs, and I love Halloween. So for her closing gift, I got her something that was Halloween based, because that was the
Hey,
connection that her and I had. So, but finding that makes it a lot easier. And then I feel like it does help in the long run, where, like you were saying, you use a lot of your past clients that send you referrals. That's how you get business now, where some people spend their entire career in real estate constantly looking for the next person. And
yep.
some people are like that. I know some agents that kill it like that because they're not great at follow up, and that's fine. But for a lot of us, if we would just nurture the people that are already around us, and it doesn't mean that you have to constantly tell them you're an agent, but if you're just nurturing them and honestly just trying to help, and like, oh, hey, you need someone to help fix your garden, like, I got somebody. Hey, you need help with your fence, I've got someone, right? You're being that piece of service for them, and I feel like that's where people remember you, and then that's when they think about you as well when it comes to giving other people to you.
Yeah.
So now tell me how that kind of rolls in with your team and everything. So I know you said you have your team, and then you have kind of a non-traditional team that you're a part of as well. So how do you flow all of that on top of your business and everything else?
I work a lot, put in a lot of hours, answer a ton of phone calls. Um, Luckily, a lot of it's in group training,
Mhm.
group coaching, group strategies, and it's scheduled out. So a lot of that helps. But I still do a lot of one-on-one stuff with the agents that partner with us, and it always kind of shocks me, the agents that kind of stick around for a little while, and then 2, 3, 4 months in, they finally realize that I'll answer if they call me, or if they message me directly, rather than just like asking the group and stuff. And
Yeah.
some of them start to break out of their shell a little bit more, and they're like, oh wow, he actually will answer his phone. He actually will take care of this for us.
Hmm.
And he actually will give us really good advice. And it stuff that comes so easy to me, other agents don't always get it. Like it's
Hmm.
kind of shocking to me sometimes, but then it helps me refine as well whenever I have to train them and explain it, and
Mm-hmm.
makes me in turn a better agent. Um, makes me analyze my business more to be able to teach it to others. So
Mm-hmm.
that's been one thing that's been really helpful about all the stuff we've been doing, is being able to express that and think deeper about what I'm doing rather than it just being natural for me. I don't always have to think about it. I just do it.
Yeah.
So, some people, they have to plan it out and strategize and do all this stuff. I live my life by strategy that's just naturally up there and it just goes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to dial in a plan like some people do. I don't have to in order to make sure I'm on time for meetings, I have to follow a schedule. Other than that, like if it's interaction with clients,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a schedule for that per se. I can text them and be like, hey, you guys want to go out to dinner, past
Mm-hmm.
clients or whatever, like, and just hit them up. I don't necessarily need a schedule for that, but I'll look at I'll think back. I'm like, all right, I've not talked to these people in a little while. I'll follow up with them. And,
Yeah.
but I've usually left such a lasting impression that most of them don't want to use anybody anyways. Like, they wouldn't go somewhere else. So whenever they're ready to make a move, they're calling me if it's a year later, 2 years later, whatever, even
Mm-hmm.
if we haven't talked, they're still there's still that lasting impression.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm building that with several agents as well, that relationship with them and building that trust with them. I think the agent retention for what we do is pretty darn good because we actually care about the agents too.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're building up that, I try to lead by example, both in my business serving buyers and sellers and in my business serving the agents.
Which I love. And I, you made a point too that that I kind of want to go back to for anyone that's listening is most of us that get into the real estate world, that's like one of the first things, whatever brokerage you're with, right? Is whomever said that they're going to help you, you're like, oh my God, I know they're too busy. I can't ask. I shouldn't ask. If they say they're going to help you, that is an open invitation. And my, my thing to anybody is take advantage of that. That's how you learn. And if that person does not hold true to that and they really just are that busy, then find your tribe. And maybe that person or that brokerage isn't necessarily for you. You may have gotten into it for whatever reason in the beginning and it helped you in the beginning. But if you outgrow the people around you, or if people aren't willing to give back and help you, like they've said, then go find those that will. I feel like a lot of us get so caught up in, I was at a different brokerage before as well, where we feel like we need to stay with them, right? Well, these people told me, but they're not paying your bills. They're not helping with your kids, right? They're not making sure that you're getting sales. It's all on you. So you have to separate that piece and make it a business decision and not just an I feel bad if I leave them decision, because that I feel like is where a lot of people get really hung up in going to the next level in their business, or to be honest, even taking off in their business, is because they feel like whatever brokerage, whatever group of people they joined are supposed to give them something. When they don't, they feel bad, which you shouldn't, because they offered, right? And then you stay longer because you keep hoping it's going to change, instead of making a business decision of, there's no hard feelings, there's nothing against you. I still talk with a lot of people at my other brokerage, including their new broker now. I love the people that are there, but they didn't have the growth that I was looking for. I outgrew the people that were there and they couldn't help me. So that's why I made a transition. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that.
Yeah. So whenever I made my transition, I looked at EXP for it was about a year and 4 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
Kept looking at it. What I realized quickly was I looked at my numbers. I was outselling my entire brokerage combined that I was at before.
Wow.
All of them. The broker, there was like 10 of us total. I was outselling everybody. And I'm like, I'm not around people that I can learn from. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
around anybody to push me to be better. And like, I feel like half these agents, are they even trying? So I wanted to surround myself with people that would push me to be better, but also provide me leverage and opportunity to give back. So
Mhm.
I was already training other agents and helping other people, and I had nothing to gain from it at all. But now it's given me an opportunity to share that wisdom and share my growth and strategies with other people. And the EXP platform allows me to get rewarded for that.
Mhm.
So, it's I enjoy, I do it out of from my heart, honestly, but also time is money. And so if I'm going to be spending time doing something, even if I love it, I still need to put food on the table and
Yeah.
get paid for what I'm doing. So, I was looking for a model that supported that. Um, and I've met with several agents too. The big thing that I've learned is the people that don't love the process of whatever they're doing, they're
Mhm.
either miserable or they're not making any money. And then that also makes them miserable. They're
True.
not selling to the level that they want to. There's also people that just sell just because they don't necessarily love the process. They just sell and they've got
Mhm.
the process down, but they're still miserable because they don't actually enjoy what they're doing. So for me, I truly love the process of selling real estate. It's not just selling real estate though. It's the process of serving clients. It's taking the client from point A to point B the most
Mhm.
efficient way possible and knocking their socks off and making them, truly appreciate the value that I bring, the service that I provide. And then I try to do that with the agents too. I truly love serving the agents and helping them grow their business. However, they also have to implement. But I love the process
Mm.
especially when people get it and they take off and they implement what I tell them to do and they start seeing that those results happen because
Yeah.
they're also loving the process. They're also taking care of the clients and serving and doing that stuff. And then it feeds. If you have just a love for money and a love for the check and commission breath at the end of the day, you're going to leave yourself feeling miserable.
Mhm.
I don't have that commission breath. I don't try to force my clients. I'm not even a hard sell whenever I go on a listing appointment. The only thing I'm a hard sell on is building a relationship.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I push. I push the relationship. I don't push the sell.
And I think that's the difference between people that get into real estate and think it's going to be easy. They're going to have all the time in the world and they're going to make a ton of money. And those that really figure out that, and to be honest, it's in any business, right? In any business that you start on your own, there's a lot of work you have to do up front before you're going to see the results. And
Yep.
the difference between, like you're saying, those that just sell and are miserable, and someone like you, in my personal opinion, is passion. Your passion, what it seems like, is you really genuinely enjoy helping people. You enjoy that connection. You enjoy getting them to whatever next level that is, whether it's within real estate with those on your team, or it's selling a home, or it's buying an investment property. Like, you enjoy, that's a passion of yours. And I think that's where a
Right.
lot of people fail, is they get into real estate thinking it's going to be easy. Oh, I can work whenever I want. No, not really. I can work whenever I want. And there's all this money on the back end, but there's no passion behind it. You have to find your passion and why you care, or why you want to do something, in order to not only make the money that you want, but enjoy, like you said, enjoy the process, enjoy what you do at the same time. So it doesn't always feel like work. The big reason, right, why most people get out of corporate. I hate my job. I hate this life. I hate the way people treat me. But then they put themselves right back in the same thing by using
Yep.
that same perspective, instead of realizing that you can now fulfill whatever it is that you enjoy doing, and you can make that part of your business. Like, I know one person that loves to walk people's dogs, and so they worked on building their real estate business around that. That's how they made their connections. They were more comfortable with that. It was an easier conversation. And so even when it was people they didn't know, they authentically had a conversation about what they did, and then it rolled into them being an agent as well. So I love that. But there, you can see, even when you talk, there's a difference between work and passion.
Yep. I play 20 questions with everybody. So that's what I do. So my philosophy is if I ask anybody enough questions about themselves, it will force them to ask questions about me. They can only answer so many questions without asking me where I'm from, what I do, all that stuff. So
I
rather
love
than coming
that.
out and telling them that I'm an agent, I just keep asking them questions, and then until they get tired of asking questions, and they start asking me too. So, but I've gotten them to the point. If I can get them to the point of asking me questions, that means they're starting to be intrigued about me
True.
before I even tell them that I'm a real estate agent. I don't just come out and say I'm a real estate agent. I force them to ask me if I'm like what I do. That
Yeah.
way they're the ones asking. They've asked the question, they've sent the conversation that direction.
I love that. That is a fantastic takeaway. If nobody wrote that down, you should write that down. I love that. That's super awesome. I mean, I ask questions, but I've never thought about it that way as far as getting them ask as many questions until they start asking you things back. I like that. Okay, so on that note, we'll kind of wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time and everything. I always like to leave with two things. One, what is one type of tip, trick, or just piece of advice that you would like to give someone or wish you would have known in the beginning, or anything like that?
I mean, when it comes to building connections, I think that last little tidbit that we just
I
went
know.
over,
That was like the best.
ask so many questions that they eventually are forced to ask you, because the conversation would be weird if they didn't.
I love
Like
that. And then,
literally, it can't be a one-sided conversation.
very true.
Like most people will not let that happen.
Yeah.
Like really, if you're truly interested in them, like you're truly like just trying to get to know them, like you've asked those questions, be passionate about it, like just truly want to get to know them. That's my personality anyways. I'm not like, it's not like I'm becoming somebody different. I'm just leveraging stuff I would have already done. Like I like getting to know people.
Yeah.
But now I have a strategy with it. But once, like I said, it's not like I'm just constantly focusing on strategy. I'm living my life. My life, the way I live it, it is my strategy.
Yeah. It's
So
organic.
it's organic.
Yeah. I love that.
Building up.
Okay. And then, so share with everyone one phrase or saying that could positively impact someone. What's something that, a phrase or something that you use? I love to end on a positive note.
A phrase or saying. Love the process, not the results.
I like that, because the results will come.
Yep. Love the process, not the results. If you're only results oriented, you're going to be miserable.
True. And then I feel like you stress yourself out when those results don't happen the way you expected them to. So it's dropping that expectation. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Tell us where everybody can find you, because I know you're all over social media. So anyone that wants to connect, where can they find you online?
I'll start with my Instagram. It's at my realtor buddy Chris, and yes, that is intentional as well. That's how I want my friends to introduce me. Hey, this is my realtor buddy Chris, and it does work. So you can find me on Instagram there. Same thing, Facebook, Chris Rains as my personal page. Business pages at my realtor buddy Chris, and then I'm on TikTok as well at my realtor buddy Chris, or Chris Rains at Chris Rains Realtor. You can look it up by either one of those. I am located in Middle Tennessee, serve the Nashville and Murfreesboro greater area. Team is scattered across the state of Tennessee all the way to East Tennessee as well. And we are more than glad to help you guys out any way we can. Agent referrals, buyer sellers. We are definitely here to take care of you guys.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much, Chris. I love all the wisdom that you gave. So if anybody took anything away from this today, please know that it is being authentically you, and being comfortable with that is going to help you grow more organically in your business, regardless of what you're doing in the entrepreneurial world, whether it's real estate or anything else. That's going to grow you more consistently. And not only that, but you're going to enjoy the process, as Chris was saying, a lot more than forcing yourself to be someone that you're not. So hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. And until next time. Hello again, and thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard, please be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review so we can keep the good stuff rolling. Got something you'd love to hear us discuss? Then be sure to message me on social media and let's work together to spread even more amazing content. And if you haven't yet connected with me on social media, be sure to follow along at Agent Services Plus. I'm so excited to connect with you on the next episode, and until next time, be sure to find things that help you learn, grow, and be inspired.